he accepted the resignation of the USEX and the ASEX.
What is the point, Honorable Vice President?
Ang sinasabi ko sa inyo, bakit nyo kine-question ang due process? Tanungin nyo ang appointing authority, bakit niya tinanggap ang resignation letter?
Madam Vice President,
Yes, sir.
we will, wala pa po tayo dun sa usapin na yun.
Sa anong usapin,
Later
sir?
Later po sa binabanggit po ninyo.
Sa anong
Wala
usap-
pa po tayo sa period of interpellation. Bubuksan ko pa lamang po ang period of interpellation.
Yes, sir. Nandun na kayo sa topic. Hindi po tayo nag-i-interpellation
Madam
ngayon.
Vice President, nag-uusap po muna ang mga miyembro.
Yes,
so,
sir.
please do respect. Yung
Yes,
mga,
I am very respectful. I am dovetailing from Congressman Marcoleta. The appointing authority is the President of the Republic of the Philippines. Why are you questioning due process in a discussion of resignation of USEX and ASEX?
Wala pa pong nagtatanong about that, Madam Vice President.
Sir, kinontempt nyo
Madam-
Sir, dinetain nyo na yung tao for due process.
Madam Vice President,
Sir, nasa loob ng detention ang tao because you questioned due process. Asaan ang explanation ng due process ninyo doon? Nasaan?
Madam Vice
Tinanong
President,
kita kanina. I'm sorry, sir. Tinanong kita kanina, sino ang appointing authority? USEC ng ASEC. Anong sagot mo? Secretary. Hindi mo
pa po-
alam.
Hindi pa po ako nagsumasagot.
Hindi mo. Nakita kita, sumagot. Camera. Kita kita sumagot. Sinabi mo,
Mr.
Secretary.
Chairman, motion to
Hindi
suspend.
ninyo alam
For
lahat.
minutes.
1
Na
minute
ang
recess.
nag-a-appoint
One
ay
minute
President.
suspension is declared by the Chair. I
Mr.
will only
Chair.
recognize you if you will take your oath.
Okay,
Okay.
let's do this.
Please administer the oath of the Honorable Vice President.
Your Honor, please raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in this inquiry, so help you God? The oath has been administered, Your Honors.
Thank you. I will recognize you now,
Okay.
Honorable Vice President.
Yes. Mr. Chair, the position of Undersecretary and Assistant Secretaries and other appointed positions are positions of trust and confidence by the appointing authority. The resignation letters of the USEX and the ASEX of DepEd were accepted by the appointing authority. And who is that? Mr. Chair? The President of the Republic of the Philippines.
Yes.
It is not the Secretary of the Department of Education. So you ask the President of the Republic of the Philippines why he accepted the resignation of the USEX and the ASEX.
What is the point, Honorable Vice President?
Ang sinasabi ko sa inyo, bakit nyo kine-question ang due process? Tanungin nyo ang appointing authority, bakit niya tinanggap ang resignation letter?
Madam Vice President,
Yes, sir.
we will, wala pa po tayo dun sa usapin na yun.
Sa anong usapin,
Later
sir?
Later po sa binabanggit po ninyo.
Sa anong
Wala pa
usap-
po tayo sa period of interpellation. Bubuksan ko pa lamang po ang period of interpellation.
Yes, sir. Nandun na kayo sa topic. Hindi po tayo nag-i-interpellation ngayon.
Madam Vice President, nag-uusap po muna ang mga miyembro.
Yes,
so,
sir.
please do respect. Yung
Yes,
mga,
I am very respectful. I am dovetailing from Congressman Marcoleta. The appointing authority is the President of the Republic of the Philippines. Why are you questioning due process in a discussion of resignation of USEX and ASEX?
Wala pa pong nagtatanong about that, Madam Vice President.
Sir, kinontempt nyo
Madam-
Sir, dinetain nyo na yung tao for due process.
Madam Vice President,
Sir, nasa loob ng detention ang tao because you questioned due process. Asaan ang explanation ng due process ninyo doon? Nasaan?
Madam Vice
Tinanong
President,
kita kanina. I'm sorry, sir. Tinanong kita kanina, sino ang appointing authority? USEC ng ASEC. Anong sagot mo? Secretary. Hindi mo
pa po-
alam.
Hindi pa po ako nagsumasagot.
Hindi mo. Nakita kita, sumagot. Camera. Kita sumagot. Sinabi mo,
Mr.
Secretary.
Chairman, motion to
Hindi
suspend.
ninyo alam
for 5
lahat.
minutes.
1
Na
minute,
ang
President.
nag-a-appoint
One
ay
minute
President.
suspension is declared by the chair.
Can we observe proper decorum, Mr. Chairman?
Mr. Chair, respectfully, the personnel of the Office of the Vice President want to sit with me. Yes. Sir.
Committee resumes.
Mr. Chair.
Committee hearing resumes.
Mr. Chairman?
Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair?
Mr. Chair.
May I be allowed?
Yes, Madam Vice
Yes.
President.
You need to reconsider that extension of your detention. It was illegal in the first place. You asked the President why he accepted the resignation. Do not ask due process.
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, Congressman Paduano. Congressman Nakop.
Mr. Chair, Madam Vice President, if you have any question insofar as the actions of this committee are concerned, I think the proper remedy is for you to go to the court.
Sure, I will go to court.
Opo. Pero
Oo,
that is
pero
where-
araw-araw, you are depriving a person of her liberty while I await
That is precisely the point, ma'am.
the...
If our action of detaining your chief of staff is against the law, I think the proper remedy, and I think you're a lawyer,
Yes, sir.
the proper remedy is to go to the court.
Sir, do you really want to show the Filipino people kung anong kaalaman ninyo sa batas?
Ang sinasabi ko lang po ay sundin
Oo.
po natin yung batas
Kaya
dito
nga,
sa
sir,
House.
sundin natin yung
Kasi
batas.
nandito po kayo dito sa bahay ng Kongreso.
Yes, sir. Sundin natin yung batas. Why will you penalize, punish Yusek Lopez for an act of the President?
Madam Vice President, that is the decision of the committee as a whole. Sana po respetuhin po ninyo.
Yes, sir.
Kung meron pong
Okay.
remedy, alam naman po ninyo bilang abogado na tama po yung sinasabi ni Congressman Acop, pwede po tayong mag-file ng relief sa
Okay,
court.
sige, sir. Tinutulungan ko lang kayo, sir, kasi napapahiya ang Pilipinas. Ganito ba ang House of Representatives? Tinutulungan ko lang kayo.
Maraming salamat po, Madam Vice President.
With all due respect,
Yes,
Mr. Chair,
Congressman
Mr. Chair, I move that we
Deputy
strike
Speaker
out. Yeah, I move that we
Suarez.
strike out that last comment said about the House of Representatives. I don't think that is warranted. Neither is it fair to make statements such as that. So move, Mr. Chair.
Second.
Is there any objection? Hearing none, the motion is carried.
And Mr. Chairman,
Yes,
may
Congressman
we
Dan
remind all the
Fernandez.
resource persons to address the chairman kasi nakakawala po ng respeto sa committee na to kung hindi po natin i-address ang chairman. Maraming salamat po, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. We will now continue to the next item in our agenda. We will now proceed to the interpellation proper. The first to interpolate is the Honorable Congressman Acop.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. May I ask Mr. Edward Farda? Mr. Farda, you were the special disbursing officer during the period when Vice President SARA Duterte was the Secretary of DepEd.
Your Honor, Mr.
Edward Parda, you're recognized.
Chair. Your Honor, Mr. Chair, I confirm.
Thank you. Would you also confirm the 3 land bank checks, each amounting to 37.5 million, were issued to you as payee and were encashed by you? Would you confirm that?
Mr. Parda, you are recognized.
Your Honor, I confirm.
Thank you. And would you also confirm that you certified the correctness of the liquidation reports on the use of the DepEd confidential funds and in fact issued the corresponding certification? Would you confirm that?
Mr. Chair, pwede pong paulit lang po nung question regarding dun sa issue ng certification.
Congressman Acop, please continue. Please repeat.
Yes, Mr. Chair. Mr. Farda, can you, did you certify to the correctness of the liquidation reports on the use of the DepEd confidential funds and in fact issued the corresponding certification?
Mr. Chair, wala kaming kakampi dito, walang maka-point of order para sa amin. How can you ask a resource person without
Madam
giving him
Vice-
copies? Without giving him
Mr.
copies?
Chair, point of
Madam
order,
Vice
Mr. Chair.
President, please wait to be recognized.
Give him copies.
Point of order. What's the point of order of the Honorable
Yes,
Castro?
Mr. Chair, Representative Acop is asking our resource person, why is it that the Vice President is batting.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
the point of order
Hindi
Kasi
is
po
wala
dapat
kami
ganon.
kakabili nito, ma'am.
Pero dapat
Walang
pakinggan muna
1
point
minute
of
recess
order.
declared by the chair.
Well, point of order.
Kakambit pa na kailangan. Senado rin. Suspend nyo na lang ako. Tapos na.
Session resumes. Please continue, Congressman Ako.
Session resumes. Please continue, Congressman Akop.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Before I proceed, I would like to ask COA. Sige. COA, would you agree that 3 land bank checks, each amounting to 37.5 million, were issued to Mr. Edward Farda as payee?
Attorney Camora, you are recognized.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
And did Mr. Edward Farda certify to the correctness of the liquidation reports on the use of the debt and confidential funds, and in fact issued the corresponding certification?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Yes. And Mr. Fajarda and Madam Acosta also prepared the corresponding accomplishment reports for the use of the debt and confidential funds? Would that be correct?
Mr. Fajarda, yes, Mr. Chair.
Could you please repeat your answer, Madam?
For Mr. Fajarda for DepEd, Mr. Chair.
Yes. Now, may I know, Mr. Edward Farda, si Miss Sunshine po ay asawa po ninyo?
Yes, Your Honor, you're correct.
Yes. And Miss Sunshine Farda ay nagtatrabaho rin doon sa office ng Vice President.
During DepEd po, kasama po siya.
Yes, thank you. Now, Mr. Chair, para lang ma-recall po natin, si Miss Sunshine ang pinangalanan ng ating mga resource persons natin nung mga nakaraang hearing na nag-abot ng payola money sa mga empleyado ng DepEd at sinasabi niya na ito ay galing kay Vice President SARA. Bagay na bagay sa kanya ang kanyang pangalan. Talagang sunshine siya dahil paano ba naman hindi iilaw ang mukha mo pag naabutan ka ng pera? Meanwhile, si Mr. Farda naman ang pinapangalan nung nakaraang hearing na nung una ay nagproproseso ng payola money through land bank payroll accounts ng field personnel, pero due to supposed security reasons, hiningi niya ang personal ATM account numbers para doon na lang ipapadala ang payola ng field personnel, effectively bypassing the official documentation of all the transactions. In short, Mr. Farda, kayong mag-asawa ay nagtatrabaho para kay Vice President SARA. Tama po ba?
Mr. Edward Paharda.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes. Kayo ni Miss Sunshine ay galing sa Davao. Tama rin po ba?
Yes, Your Honor.
Bago kayo nagtrabaho under DepEd with Vice President SARA as the Secretary, si Miss Sunshine ay nagtrabaho for VP SARA nung siya ay mayor ng Davao City. Tama po?
Mr. Paharda.
Yes, Your Honor.
In other words, Mr. Farda, lumipat kayo ng Maynila to serve under the office of the Vice President and in DepEd. Tama rin po ba?
Your Honor, yung po kasing asawa ko nasa Manila, so kung ako po ay nasa Davao, so I decided na mag-apply po ako sa DepEd, kaya nagkasama po kami.
Noong si Vice President SARA ay nakabase po sa Davao as the City Vice Mayor, hindi po kayo part ng kanyang staff. Tama rin po ba?
Tama po, Your Honor.
Tama. In short, bago kayo naging SDO or Special Disbursing Officer ng DepEd, wala po kayo involvement kay Vice President SARA.
Yes, Your Honor.
Correct. Dahil sa inyong asawa, si Miss Sunshine, kayo po ay nakilala ni Vice President SARA. Tama rin po ba yun?
Yes, Your Honor.
Sa makatuwid, tama rin po ba na ang pagiging Special Disbursing Officer ninyo ay ang first job nyo kay Vice President?
Your Honor, Executive Assistant po ako bago po ako naging SDO.
So,
Special
hindi ito ang
Disbursement.
first time na trabaho po ninyo kay Vice President?
Executive Assistant.
Yes. Ang SDO appointment ang SDO ay isang appointment by the head of office. Would you agree with that?
I believe po trust and confidence po.
Oh, pero nag-appoint yung head of office.
Opo.
Thank you. In other words, pinili po kayo ni Vice President na maging Special Disbursing Officer. Tama.
By trust and confidence po.
Yes. Okay. Mr. Chair, as we can see, isa lang ang credential ni Mr. Farda upang siya ay piliin ni Vice President SARA para maging SDO. Ito ay dahil siya ay asawa ni Miss Sunshine. Alam naman natin ang posisyon na SDO requires trust dahil malaki ang funds na involved dito. Sinabi na rin ni Mr. Farda yun. For the case of DepEd, kay Mr. Farda, unang ibinigay ang confidential funds na umaabot ng mahigit 100 milyon. Mr. Farda, are you a regular employee within the meaning of our civil service?
Mr. Chair, executive assistant po is also appointed po ng head of the office of the agency, considered po as a regular employee.
Considered as a regular employee and therefore covered po ng civil service rules. Would you agree?
Mr. Chair, hindi po ako masyadong maalam sa rules po ng civil service. So, can I ask someone?
Kasi if you're a regular employee under our civil service rules, the fact that you are appointed in the DepEd as co-terminus with the Vice President and then Secretary of Education, are you trying to tell this committee that a co-terminus employee would be a regular employee within the meaning of our civil service rules? And if no naman, I think you would also be aware that under a joint circular, a special disbursing officer must be a regular employee.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Now the question is, are you or do you consider yourself a regular employee despite your being a coterminous employee?
Yes, Your Honor.
So you are a regular employee. You consider yourself such. Okay. But as a coterminous employee, you serve at the pleasure of your principal. Tama rin.
Yes, Your Honor.
Meaning the principal is the vice president.
Yes,
And
Your Honor.
she can remove you from office at any point in time. Tama rin.
Opo, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Chair, at the appropriate time, I wish to explore legislation on this matter because an SDO cannot be a coterminous employee. We have to remember that confidential funds, when granted to a civilian agency, is related to the functions of the agency itself. As such, the person handling it must be a career employee, preferably of that agency, so that we are certain where loyalty lies. Not just a coterminous employee where incentives are aligned towards ensuring that the principal is pleased with his or her performance. Do we have a representative of the Bureau of Treasury, Mr. Chair?
Comsec?
Your Honor, Bureau of Treasury was informed belatedly, but they will try their best to appear today, Your Honor.
So they're not present today.
Not present today, Your Honor.
Kasi, Mr. Chair, ang tatanungin ko po sana is tungkol po dun sa Fidelity bond. And the representative of the Bureau of Treasury is the appropriate or proper person to explain to us yung Fidelity bond vis-a-vis the accountable officer.
Your
Congressman
Honor.
Nakop, I think the the representative of Bureau of Treasury is present.
May I please recognize Attorney Jericho Cadorna, OIC for the Complaints and Investigation Division of the Bureau of Treasury, Your Honor.
Nakapag-oath na po ba siya, Comsec?
Previously, in the previous hearings, Your Honor, he has already taken his oath.
Okay. Please take your seat, Attorney Cardona. Please proceed, Congressman Nakop.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Attorney, bago i-discuss po natin yung Fidelity bond, maaari po ba ninyong explain sa amin o sa committee na ito at saka mga nandito ngayong araw na ito, ano ang accountable officer at sino po ang mga pwedeng maging accountable officers?
Good afternoon, Your Honor, and to the Honorable Committee. Your Honor, to answer the question of Your Honor. As for the Bureau of the Treasury in our Fidelity bonding operations, to determine who is an accountable officer, we refer to the requirement of the public bonding law, or the definition of the public bonding law as to who is an accountable officer. Section 314 of the public bonding law states that every officer, agent, and employee of the government of the Philippines or of the companies or corporations, the majority of the stock of which is held by the national government shall, whenever the nature of the duties performed by such officer, agent, or employee permits or requires the custody of funds or property for which he is accountable, be deemed a bondable officer. And except as otherwise provided, every such person shall be bonded or bondable, and his fidelity insured in accordance with the public bonding law.
With your definition, attorney, yung bang special disbursement officer ay isa sa mga accountable officers?
As per my knowledge, Your Honor, in the operations of the Bureau of the Treasury, special disbursing officers are one of the officials who are considered bondable because of the fact that they are in custody or in possession of public funds or property. However, admittedly, Your Honor, as far as the legal service of the Bureau of the Treasury is concerned, we often recommend a different evaluation criteria because special disbursing officers are generally only designated additional accountable functions on top of their core functions, which ordinarily does not involve public funds or property, Your Honor.
I'm sorry, attorney. My question was very simple. Ang tanong ko lang po kung ang mga designated special disbursing officers are also accountable officers pursuant to the definition that you have cited to us. Yes or no lang naman po.
Yes, Your Honor, considering that if they are granted or designated additional functions as special disbursing officers, the nature of the duties then would require custody of funds or property, Your Honor.
And therefore, Mr. Edward Farda is an accountable officer pursuant to that definition.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Chair, ayon sa ating joint circular, an accountable officer is an officer of the government whose duties permit or require the possession or custody of government funds and property, and who shall be accountable therefore and for the safekeeping thereof in conformity with our laws and regulations. As clearly established by the discussion earlier, Mr. Edward Farda is indeed an accountable officer, not only by the fact of his position as SDO, but also by the fact of the confirmation of receipt of confidential funds for DepEd respectively in 2022 and 2023. Now, attorney, you must be aware of Treasury Circular Number 1-2022 regarding supplemental guidelines on the revised omnibus regulations governing the fidelity bonding of accountable public officers being part of the Bureau of Treasury.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, base po sa circular ng Treasury, ano po ang ibig sabihin ng bondable officer? Ito po ba ay nangangaluhugan na may bond na ipinopost para sa kanya?
Yes, Your Honor.
And ano po yung tawag po ninyo doon sa bond na binibigay ng bondable officer?
It is referred to by the Bureau of the Treasury as the Fidelity Bond, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Pwede po bang ipaliwanag niyo po sa amin, sa lahat na nandito, kung ano po ang ibig sabihin ng fidelity bond in layman's terms?
Your Honor, a fidelity bond or the posting of the fidelity bond is an assurance or the commitment of an accountable public officer that he will faithfully discharge and lawfully discharge his duties, particularly his accountable public duties, considering that the accountable public officer is in possession of public funds or property. It is a commitment, Your Honor, that the accountable public official will faithfully and lawfully discharge his or her duties.
Ano po ang purpose? Is that the last statement that you made? Yan po ba ang purpose ng Fidelity Bond?
Its purpose also, Your Honor, is for the accountable
Marami pong salamat. Now, bakit kailangan mag-post ng Fidelity Bond ang isang accountable officer katulad ni Mr. Fajarda?
Your Honor, because the reason being is that because the Fidelity Bond or a bondable officer or a bonded officer rather is covered by the Fidelity Fund, the Fidelity Fund maintained in the Bureau of the Treasury shall be available for the purpose of replacing defalcations, shortages, and unrelieved losses in their account, Your Honor.
Thank you. Ngayon, sa Bureau of Treasury, ano po ang ibig sabihin ng public fund?
Allow me to just refer to the
Please,
circular, Your Honor. So,
please, Attorney.
Okay. Yes, Your Honor. I will quote item Q of the definition of terms under Treasury Circular 2-2019 as amended. Public funds shall refer to funds or public monies under the possession, custody, or control of an accountable officer by virtue of his or her official position or designation, which include public monies of every sort and other financial resources such as cash, instruments, representing or convertible to money, receivables, and the like pertaining to the government agency, Your Honor.
And pursuant to that definition that you have read, ang confidential funds ng DepEd ay kasama sa public funds under the possession, custody, or control of the special disbursing officer, in this case, Mr. Edward Fajarda.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Ano po ang liability ng accountable officer katulad ni Mr. Fajarda sa ganitong sitwasyon?
Liability, Your Honor, in...
Yeah.
If I may...
Are they accountable sa mga losses dahil sa unlawful deposit, unlawful use, or application of public funds, unlawful application of public funds? Sila po ang accountable?
Yes, Your Honor. If there is unlawful disbursement, considering that the Administrative Code of 1987 states that every accountable officer shall be personally liable for the funds or property in his or her possession, Your Honor.
Liable din sila kahit attributable ang loss sa kanilang negligence sa paghawak po ng mga pondong ito.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Now, Mr. Fajarda, having listened to the explanation of the representative of the Bureau of Treasury, are you aware of the magnitude of your accountability as Special Disbursing Officer?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Let me confirm. Salary grade 17 po kayo, tama po ba?
Yes, Your Honor.
And correct po ba yung aking record ng inyong monthly salary ay around 35,000 to 40,000? Mali po ba yun?
Your Honor, 41,000. Ganyan po malapit, hindi ko lang po alam ang exact figure.
So, malapit dito. Malapit dito sa numerong
Mga
sinabi ko.
40 plus, 40 to 50.
Yeah. Kanina, napag-usapan natin with the Bureau of Treasury ang Fidelity Bond at ang purpose nito. Naintindihan mo naman siguro yung explanation ng representative ng Bureau of Treasury. Nung kayo po ba, Mr. Fajarda, to minimize the probability of theft or crimes in relation to the confidential funds na inyo pong hawak, ano po yung controls na inilagay po ninyo Kayo po ba ay hiningan ng proof ng iyong income o properties?
Your Honor, ang tanong po niyo po ba yung as SDO, as an SDO?
Yeah, bilang SDO at may hawak po ng confidential funds, may nilagay po ba kayong control sa paggamit po nito? Or hiningan po ba kayo o pinag-submit po ba kayo ng iyong income at saka list of properties?
Your Honor, nasa SALN po kasi yan. Meron po yung copy po sa DepEd. Nung nag-apply po ako, naghingi po sila ng SALN.
Hiningi po sa inyo ito at nag-submit naman po kayo?
Opo. Nung nag-apply po ako sa DepEd.
Okay. Now, to the Bureau of Treasury, yung bond fidelity is required when you hold public funds. Tama po.
Yes, Your Honor.
At ang purpose ng fidelity bond ay to ensure against losses, shortages, and defalcation by officers or employees accountable for public funds. Tama rin po.
Yes, Your Honor.
In other words, ito pong mga nakalagay dito ay to ensure na gagamitin po ng tama and for the specified purpose ang public funds. Tama po ba? Dahil kung hindi po ginamit doon for what is intended for, you are violating the law. Would you agree?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Now, would you also agree with me that the fidelity bond should be equal to the amount of public funds that you would hold being a special disbursing officer? Would that be correct?
Well, I do agree, Your Honor. But that is...
Hindi ko po tinatanong kung nag-agree po kayo. Tama rin po ba according to your rules?
As for the Bureau of the Treasury's rules, Your Honor, admittedly, the coverage of the bond is not equal to the amount of the accountability disclosed. That is the present policy or the existing policy of the Bureau of the Treasury, Your Honor.
Now, may I know the reason why pumayag o nag-agree po kayo sa aking contention? Kasi importante po ito dahil pwedeng baguhin natin yung naandun sa Bureau of Treasury.
Well, let me preface my answer, Your Honor, by saying that this is just my personal opinion as part of the legal service, and this does not preempt a forthcoming position of the Bureau. But I do agree with the sentiment, Your Honor, because it has the features of an insurance. So therefore, in order for it to fully insure, you could say the fidelity losses should be reimbursed by said insurance. But then again, Your Honor, that is just my personal opinion, and this does not preempt any forthcoming official position of the Bureau, because really the reason why there is a minimization or limit on the bond coverage is to reduce moral hazards, Your Honor, and the fact that there are fiscal implications because presently the Fidelity Fund are with the Bureau of the Treasury. So to reimburse it fully would have fiscal implications, Your Honor.
Kasi, would you agree also na kung sobra naman ang liit ng bond, then wala na pong incentive to use the trusted public fund properly? Will you also agree with that, Attorney?
I would agree with that, Your Honor.
Thank you. Si Mr. Farda ay pinayagan maghawak ng up to 50 million o ang kanyang approved amount of bond. Based on this data, the approved amount of bond is 4 million while the bond premium is 60,000. Tama rin po ba yun sa inyong mga rules and regulations?
While I do not have the records, actually, Your Honor, because that belongs to the National Capital Region Regional Office, and the invitation was belatedly sent. But if we would refer to the schedule of premium rates, accountability, and bond coverage, if I may ask again, Your Honor, the accountability is for how much, Your Honor?
50 million.
50 million.
That is the approved amount of bond.
50 million, Your Honor, for the bond, Your Honor?
Yes,
Perhaps accountability, Your Honor.
Yes, the accountability is 50 million. The approved amount of bond is 4 million.
Yes, Your Honor, that would be compliant with the schedule of premium rates under existing Treasury circulars. For minimum cash accountability ranging from 25 million and 1 peso to 75 million pesos, the amount of bond would be 4 million with a premium to be paid, which is 60,000 pesos.
60,000.
Yes, Your Honor.
Tama sa rules and regulations po ninyo.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, paliwanag po sa amin anong ibig sabihin ng approved amount of bond?
That is basically, Your Honor, the coverage of the Fidelity Fund. If ever there are losses, shortages, and defalcations, that is the maximum amount that can be paid by the Bureau of the Treasury. Whichever is lesser, Honor, it could be the amount of loss if it's lesser, or it could be the amount of the bond if it is lesser, Your Honor.
Okay. Ano rin po ba ang bond premium?
It is to be paid, Your Honor, by the agency in order for the bond to be confirmed, or for basically the contract to be binding, Your Honor, that the official is bonded.
Yes. Thank you. In the case of Mr. Farda, hindi po ba maliwanag na ang layo ng approved amount of bond and the bond premium sa amount of accountability po niya? Will you agree with that?
I would agree with that, Your Honor, because such is the present status of the policy, Your Honor.
Yes, yung sitwasyon ba na ito ay tama according to your rules?
According to the rules, Your Honor, it would be correct because that is what is stated under the policy, Your Honor.
So normal.
Per the rules, Your Honor, that would be normal, Your Honor.
Would you agree also with me that if this is the situation, there is no incentive for Mr. Farda to properly use the 50 million? Will you agree with that?
As far as the Fidelity bonding operations is concerned, Your Honor, considering that the bond coverage is admittedly very minimal, well, yes, Your Honor, just personal opinion, looking at it with the features of an insurance contract, Your Honor.
We have established a while ago that the salary grade of Mr. Edward Farda is only 17 and thus earns around more or less 40,000 a month. Further, he was not asked to show, or he was asked to show properties, but was not, I think he also was asked to provide a financial capacity to cover the accountable amount of 50 million. So, pinipilit ko pong intindihin how could 4 million bond serve as protection for the 50 million public funds entrusted to a person sa inyong departamento. Hindi nyo po ba napag-aralan ito? How would a, 4 million bond serve as a protection for a 50 million public fund entrusted to an SDO?
In that regard, Your Honor, as I was not part of I do not have the knowledge on the wisdom behind the matrix of schedule of premium rates, because since time immemorial, admittedly, Your Honor, it has been this way. It was just added, or additional items were just added throughout the years. But I would refer it to our principals, Your Honor, if there's a need for the Bureau's position regarding the matter.
Kaya ko po tinatanong, baka I think there's a need already to amend. Di po ba? Kasi yung amount, wala pa nga 20% nung coverage. Would you agree with that?
I would agree with that, Your Honor.
Thank you. Now, COA, Can you please walk us through the steps of obtaining confidential funds? Would it be correct that this begins with the disbursement voucher? Madam Kowa?
Sir, Mr. Chair, may I ask? Can the question be repeated?
Thank you. Can you please walk us through the steps of obtaining a confidential obtaining confidential funds? Would it be true that this begins with a disbursement voucher?
Yes, Mr. Chair, from the cash advances, for the cash advance.
Correct. Tama.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Now, ano po ang purpose ng isang disbursement voucher?
It is to ano po, yung para mag-request nung cash advance, nung amount na gagamitin for the purpose in the DV po.
Okay. Mr. Farda, sa nakaraang mga hearing namin, paulit-ulit pong nababanggit ang inyong pangalan. Sa katunayan, nabanggit din po ang pangalan nyo ni Attorney Michael Powa, spokesperson dati ni Vice President SARA at dating Chief of Staff sa DepEd. Kilala nyo po ba siya?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yeah. At noong nakaraang hearing, napag-usapan ang confidential funds ng DepEd, pati ang mga YLS or Youth Leadership Summits. Dahil hindi po kayo nagpakita nung nakaraang mga hearing, wala po kaming choice kung hindi magtanong sa mga resource persons na nandito noon, nung araw na yon. Pero ayon kay Attorney Powa, ikaw at si Vice President SARA lang ang may alam tungkol sa paggamit ng confidential funds. Do you confirm this? O si Attorney Powa ang nagsisinungaling?
Your Honor, ang nag-uusap lang po tungkol po sa confidential fund po sa office, ako at saka si BP Sara, pero regarding po sa operation, may kausap pa po akong iba.
So,
Sa operation,
tama po yung
tama
sinabi
po
ko.
yung kay Michael
Tama
po.
po.
Kay Yusek pa po.
Now, bago po
Pero,
tayo-
I said, sorry, Your Honor, sorry.
Sige, sige.
May kausap pa po akong iba, mga security officer po.
Ano po?
Yung pong security officer.
Ang nakakaalam na isa. So, tatlo kayo.
Ang kausap ko po si Ma'am Sara and then ako po sa security officer.
Okay. Security officer, ikaw at si Vice President. Correct. Okay.
Your Honor, hindi po nag-uusap po si security officer at saka si Vice President Sara.
So, ikaw lang ang kausap ng security officer?
Opo.
Kilapit lang yung mic niyo.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Bago tayo pumunta sa mga pinaggamitan ng confidential funds, dito muna tayo sa paano ba ipaprocess ang confidential funds. Specifically, yung confidential fund ng DepEd. Ang una pong step, Mr. Farda, is yung disbursement voucher. Would that be correct?
Your Honor, may isa pa pong ginagawa para po magawa po yung disbursement
Ano
voucher.
po yun?
Physical and financial plan po.
Yes. There must be a physical and financial plan.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, thank you. Yung pong disbursement voucher para sa first quarter ng 2023 in the amount of 37.5 million, sa iyo po ba nakapangalan yung disbursement voucher?
Your Honor, ang pinapangalan po sa akin yung cheque. Yung pong cheque.
Yeah. Sa iyo po.
Yung cheque po.
Yung disbursement voucher, wala.
Ayan po ang disbursement voucher. So, nakaperma lang po ako dyan. Pero,
Nandyan yung pangalan po
Apo,
ninyo.
nagsasign po ako, Your Honor.
Thank you. Yun din pong cheque, kagaya ng sabi ninyo, nakapangalan na rin po sa inyo.
Opo, Your Honor.
Okay. Pero matanong ko po, kayo po ba nag-prepare ng disbursement voucher?
Your Honor, ang nagpe-prepare po niyan sa DepEd ay yung pong accounting.
So, ang nagpre-prepare ng mga disbursement vouchers ng confidential funds of DepEd ay yung accounting division po.
Yung pong disbursement po, as to disbursement.
Yung vouchers.
Opo.
Pero this whole process would be under your supervision.
Your Honor, alam ko lang po yung mga signatory dyan, pero ang mas knowledgeable po dyan ay yung accounting po.
Wala po bang nag-uutos sa iyo na i-prepare ang mga disbursement vouchers o ihanda ang mga ito para requirement po ng paggamit ng confidential funds?
Your Honor, pag mayroon na pong physical and financial plan, minsan po pupunta ako sa accounting para mag-request na po na pwede na pong gawin yung disbursement voucher. Kasi
And who gives you that order?
Your Honor, as SDO, pag meron na pong physical financial plan, alam ko na po na kailangan na pong kasunod pong gawin ang disbursement voucher.
Automatic na ginagawa po ninyo?
Pag meron na pong physical and financial plan, automatic na po na magpapagawa na po ako ng disbursement voucher.
Okay. Thank you. Kayo rin po ang payee.
Pay sa cheque po ako po ng pangalan.
Yeah.
Opo.
Yeah. Dahil ikaw ang payee, may check na na-issue sa pangalan mo, as you have stated a while ago, sa halagang 37.5 million.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, Mr. Farda, the name of Miss Runa Catalan is on this disbursement voucher. Tama?
Yes, Your Honor.
Totoo ba na this is what Madam Sunshine supposedly requested Miss Catalan to sign?
Your Honor, as ano po yan eh, kapag ka po ang mga papers, si Miss Sunshine po ay nagpaperma na po kay Ma'am Sara ng disbursement voucher. Usually, trabaho po ni Miss Sunshine po yung regarding sa mga papers. May trabaho din po siyang ganyan.
Tama po ba yung aking statement?
Sorry, Your Honor, pwedeng paulit po yung statement nyo na yan.
Hindi ba tinanong ko kanina, yung pangalan po ni Miss Rona Catalan is nakalagay din po sa disbursement voucher na nakalagay diyan kanina. Nakita natin.
Opo, Your Honor.
Tama? Ito po ba yung ni-request ni Madam Sunshine for Miss Catalan to sign?
Hindi ko po alam kasi po, yung pong separate po kasi kami ng trabaho eh. Hindi ko po alam kung yan po talaga yung
one.
Yung
Okay.
question po yan.
Kasi si Madam Runa Catalan in the previous hearings claimed that Madam Sunshine requested her to sign the liquidation vouchers for the 102.5 million in DepEd confidential funds, which were reportedly withdrawn as cash advances by you, who serve as the special dispersing officer at DepEd. Yun po yung sinabi ni Madam Catalan, kaya tinatanong ko po kayo.
Your Honor, ang ano po namin is ang per quarter po, lagi pong 37.5
Yeah.
million. Opo.
Tatlong beses?
Opo, tatlong beses po.
Yes. So, totoo yung claim ni Madam Runa Catalan.
Siguro po, kaya hindi ko po sure, kaya wala po kasi
Okay.
ako doon.
Thank you. I'll take that for an answer. Yung pag-issue ng cheque sa'yo, yung date ay same date ng disbursement voucher. Would you remember that?
Pag-issue po ng cheque,
Ayan, nandyan.
Your Honor, ano pong ibig sabihin po pag-issue po ng cheque? Same
Nagkasabay
date.
po nung disbursement voucher. Doon
Ay, sa pagkakaalam ko, ginagawa po muna yung disbursement voucher
Agree.
para po makagawa ng cheque.
Pero, yung pagkatapos ng disbursement voucher, sumunod ka agad yung pagkagawa ng cheque. Would you agree?
Hindi ko na po alam ko kasi accounting po ang nagpa-process nun eh.
Accounting.
Po.
Kasi, may pagkaalam po ako dun sa controllership iho eh. So I know. And nakikita ko na napakabilis nung pagkatapos ng disbursement voucher, may cheque ka agad. Napakabilis po ng proseso.
Accounting
Hindi.
po kasi nagpa-process, Your
Diba?
Honor.
Yes. At ayon dito sa disbursement voucher, na-receive mo ang cheque for 37.5 million. Tama?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. I would just like to manifest, Mr. Chair, nakita natin sa screen ang kopya ng 37.5 million check na issued na-issue kay Mr. Farda. Ang pag-advance ng 37.5 million na ito ay may approval ng Office of the Vice President. In fact, nakalagay nga sa disbursement voucher itong cash advance ay necessary, incurred lawfully and under her direct supervision. Mr. Farda, nung nakuha mo na yung cheque, ano po ang ginawa niyo po sa cheque?
Your Honor, yan po ay withdrawin ko. Pero sa naalala ko po, hindi po agad na withdraw eh. Ano po ata ng kinabukasan pa. Kasi sa pagkaalam ko po, ang bangko wala pong ganyan atang.
Winidraw niyo po ba ito one time?
Yes, Your Honor. Yung pong 37.
Okay. Yung pagka-withdraw nyo yung pondo, saan nyo po dinala?
Sa office po, Your Honor.
Sa office. So, meron po kayong vault doon that would be able to hold 37.5 million.
Meron po, Your Honor.
Meron. Okay. Kapag meron na ngayon tao na sa inyong opisina na nangangailangan may gagamitin para na confidential funds,